Well, we've heard the cliche, there are no accidents, and it's probably, I don't know, I think probably about 4 a.m. And I'm that crazy guy that people think, what kind of crazy hours are you in the gym? Do you ever sleep? And the beauty of it all is it doesn't matter, what time I go to the gym or whether I sleep or all those types of things. What matters is what works for me. And the beauty of it all, and the purpose for wanting to share this with you is, I walked out of the gym at 3:25 a.m. and at 3:27 a.m. I got a text message, and certainly I'll hold the person, their confidence and keep it confidential. But here's what it read. What did you say to yourself when you made the decision to stop drinking forever? What did you say to yourself when you wanted to drink and didn't want to drink really? I know that one too. How did you stop yourself from drinking? What do you say to yourself on the days when you are thinking about not going to exercise? And how do you stop drinking forever? And so I thought it would be really good to share with you, because the interesting thing is that I picked up the phone and called this person immediately. And what I want to share with you is the saddest and the scariest thing that he shared with me is that he was thinking about texting me for probably about 7 days, he said. I was going to text you a week ago. And I asked him a question. I said, and he's in a tough spot. I mean, he's going to be okay, but he's in a really tough spot. And I said, what if 5 days was too late? What if 6 days was too late? What if we hadn't connected today? And the reason I want to go there is recently I was reading, certainly I'm in the real estate business, but my fascination is with human behavior. And my fascination with that primarily is because I needed to understand myself. I needed to continue to understand myself and the challenges that I go through. Certainly I get to coach people, teach people, lead people. And I think that the reason that I get the opportunity to do that is because I have more work to do on myself than anyone on the planet, and I know it. But the difference is I continue to do it. But one of the things that was shared in some of the research in looking at people that struggle with drugs, people that struggle, this person happens to be killing themselves with food. And it's the real deal. Whether it's food, whether it's porn, whether it's shopping, whether it's alcohol, some kind of filler. The common theme that ultimately kills people, whether it literally kills people or kills their soul, where they're just this body that's on the planet that's not living inspired, is the society that we live in that has created this condition of who we have to be, what we have to look like, what we have to sound like, this dying need for approval. If you study Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's certainly, there's food, there's air, and there's water. And then next to that is acknowledgement, it's belonging. And this judgmental society that we live in is killing people. And what I want to share with you is this, from my own journey and from the many people, certainly I always hold things confidential, but the many people that I work with, here's what you need to know. 99% of the people that you look at and that you see this life that they have, things are never as they appear. They never are. Everyone has their shit. And the other thing that I want to share with you, we've all got our stuff. I've got mine. It's why I have guides. It's why I have coaches. It's why I have people check in. It's why I have third-party observers to keep me in check. I was killing myself for many, many years. And when you live a certain way, as I did for 41 years, you walk deep into a dark forest. And you don't just have this epiphany moment. For me, it was drinking. And my drinking issue is no different than your food issue, your porn issue, your shopping issue. It just happens to be my filler. Here's the mistake that people make is they go to rehab or they read a book or they say a prayer and all of a sudden everything changes. Hey, listen, all of a sudden everything changed. One day I quit drinking. I mean, one little choice. I just quit one day. I mean, was there a bunch behind it? Yeah, there's hospital visits. There was alcohol withdrawals. There were emergency room visits. And I quit. Well, that's just the beginning. That's where we start. I work harder today to stay sober, which will be 9 years on July 21st, than I did when I was trying to get there. And if you know anyone that's tried to get sober, if you know anyone, including yourself, that's tried to kick a habit, it's a battle getting there. It's a struggle. And you'll have good moments and you'll have bad moments and you'll take 2 steps forward and you'll take 3 steps backwards. But the bottom line is this, is you've got to first of all accept it as it's part of me. It's who I am. The second thing is, and it's easy in theory and you see it float around and I'll say it all the time too, you got to stop giving 2 shits about what anyone thinks because that's what's going to kill you. That's what's going to kill you. I mean, I'm so glad. Obviously, this gentleman moved past the point of being concerned about what someone might think. And for those of you that know me may say, and I've had my guides say this to me too, you know, I'm strong medicine. I come a little bit sharp angle and maybe, John, more people would be open to you and approach you. You'd be more approachable if you were a little bit softer. Well, you know, there's a choice that I made. And the choice that I made was this is number one, I'm never going to be all things to all people. And look at life. I mean, if you're in a space where you're struggling, or if you're in a space where you're leading and you want to support a lot of people, either way, you know, if you want to be all things to all people, you'll be nothing to no one. If you want to be all things to all people, you'll be nothing to no one. And that's a good sales strategy to consider. That's a good life strategy to consider. You know, and I think the two really dovetail together. You know, I saw a great friend of mine, Kevin Kaufman, posted something yesterday about who's working today. And I didn't jump on the thread. But my thought was that as I reflected back, is I'm never working. I mean, the moment that what I do becomes work, I'm done. I'm folding up my tent and I'm going to go move into a teepee or something like that. It's life. And if you take a look at the things that are not working in your personal life, it's going to show up in your business life. I'm sorry, the person that goes around saying that, you know, well, that's business and that's personal, that's bullshit. That's the biggest round of bullshit on the planet because there's nothing that's going on privately that won't show up publicly. There's not a single damn thing. You know, what I take a look at in working with leaders that own companies and they're working with their leaders and this person isn't doing this or this person isn't doing that. And I said, well, it's not about that. We've got to unpack it. You know, what's underneath it? Where is the spot that this has happened in the past? It's a life experience that's contributing to the personal experience. And what's happening is there's this bullshit conversation that's going on the surface between leadership and an agent, between leadership and or ownership and a leader, from peer to peer. All of our conversations, not all of our conversations, but a lot of them are bullshit because people are fucking hiding. And it's sad because we're afraid to be judged. Now, here's some things that I want to say to you you know what? Take a step back. Let's get into reality. Have you ever noticed how people love the underdog? People love the underdog. And if they don't, shame on them. I mean, I'm a guy that goes to the gym. You know, I'm the guy that people judge because I was in the gym at 1:30 a.m. Well, I could give 2 shits what people think because you know what? That keeps me alive. And I'll say that. When some may say, well, that's stupid, that's crazy. Why don't you have a routine? Well, fuck a routine. It doesn't work for me. I'm not in a box. It's my life. It's not everyone else's life. And that's the piece you got to get. Get outside. People say, think out of the box. No, live out of the box. Move away from the domesticated, socialized, accepted, little robot that you're supposed to be. That's what's killing you. And also know this. Know that when you come forward, that people can't wait to help you. And you know what? Those that judge you and those that won't help you, fuck them. Get them out of your life. Get them out of your life. What a great way to find out. And, here's the other part too, is that, you've got to get over, this person said to me, and yeah, I am a little bit sharp angle, and I am a little bit strong medicine. Food is their issue and their challenge. And I said, okay, tell me more about that. Well, I have an emotional attachment to food, and it goes back to my childhood. And in my childhood, there were some things that happened, and food was my rescue. And, you may like this, you may not like this. And again, I really don't care, because I'm not all things to all people. See, what I care about, just by the way, I care about that I'm clear on my purpose, that I serve people, and that it takes a lot of hard work to change. There's nothing tougher on the planet than going from looking out the window to looking in the mirror. There is nothing tougher on this planet than shifting from looking out the window and deciding, you know what, I'm not going to look out the window anymore at all the shit going on in my life. I'm going to take the mirror that's sitting at waist level and I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to stop using the bullshit story of my mom and my dad. And what I said to him was this. I said, well, you're the only person on the planet that had challenging childhood, right? Well, John, that's not compassionate. Well, and that takes me to another place too. Everyone wants the truth. And you know what? Well, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Then you bring people the truth, then you're a dick. I mean, hey, I understand how challenging it can be to show up as you are. But here's what I want to share with you. Is what's going to happen, or what may be happening right now. I would say in most people it's happening right now is because everyone's so worried about being politically correct. The only thing that you need to be correct about is the soul that you are and what your purpose is. What is your intention? What's your intention? You know what my intention is? My intention is to help people that want to change, because there's a lot of people in pain, and I was in pain. A bullet in my mouth would have been a lot easier. I'm so grateful that I didn't have the guts to do it, okay? And there's a lot of people that feel that way. And the sad thing is, they have nowhere to go. They feel like they have nowhere to go. It's like this prison. It's like you're trapped. Because if I show you I'm vulnerable, I'm a weak person, I won't be accepted. Well, you know what? Here's what I'd say. If you show people you're vulnerable and they judge you, get them out of your life. Like now. History. We didn't come here to be a people pleaser. We came here to show up as our highest version of self. And you know what you need to do? You need to find out what works for you. There's some people that believe in, there's great books out there. I think The Miracle Morning or something like that. I haven't even read it. And I have nothing against it. I mean, great friends of mine that are brilliant have suggested it. I have friends that are reading it. My guess is, and I'd certainly stand corrected, is you're supposed to wake up and go ... Well, you know what? No way. I ain't doing it. Sorry. I'm not a routine guy. I'm a ritual guy. And what's a ritual guy? I know my rituals. I know I'll get to the gym today. I know I'll eat healthy today. I know I'll get my work done today. I know I will read today. I know I will pray and meditate today. I know I will journal today. When? I don't know. And you know what? I'm not going to get wrapped around my axle over it. Now, you may be someone that needs to do that, and that's okay too. But here's what I want to suggest to you is, ask yourself the toughest question I ask my clients when I first start working with them. And I've got someone staying with me in my home that's in a challenging spot right now. And we sat down at my kitchen table a couple nights ago, and I asked the question, what makes you happy? What, when you put your hand on your chest, makes your heart just beat? Just fills you up? What is it? And I'm going to tell you something right now. 90% of people can't even answer that. 90% of people can't even answer that. See, I believe certainly we all have our situation. Listen, I could tell you my story all day long of this happened, that happened. And let me tell you something about my story. It's not my story, it's my history. It's what has contributed to who I am becoming every day. And you know what? I'm a lot happier with who I am today versus who I was yesterday. And you know what? I'm hopefully going to be a lot better and happier tomorrow than I was today, as long as I take the steps that I need to take. That's the key piece, is just doing a little bit more, a little bit better. That's all. So number one, what you've got to do is this. What's going to make you happy? And you know what? It might be just something as simple as, maybe not drinking anymore, maybe not drinking as much, maybe not eating or as much as you do. Maybe it's not participating in certain social events that really don't serve you. I'm not a social guy. People will say, what? I am disinterested in social events. And you know what? I don't care what people think about it. I really don't. Well, you get to go out and speak and this and that. You know what I get to do? I get to go out and bring my best version of me forward to people, hopefully to facilitate change if that's what they desire. All the other stuff around it, no, I'm not interested. And I don't have to. And if that's a risk, that's the other thing we look at too, is we're compromising who we are for money. See, part of this politically correct thing is you're so attached to bullshit that you think you need to own and what you need to look like and appear as. So you're doing stuff that doesn't fulfill you. See, here's the thing that you're going to discover, or you may be sitting there now, and if not, that's wonderful, is we're programmed that fulfillment is in success. Fulfillment is in success. There's a lie. How many successful people do you know that are not fulfilled? See, anxiety is, to me, and I'm not a doctor, I study and I reflect and I work with people. Anxiety to me is an internal conflict of what we want to experience versus what we are experiencing. It's a conflict of who our highest and best self is versus how we're showing up. And I can tell you this, 90% of people are going to make a decision today, most of their decisions today, to please someone else. And go to bed, reflect on their day, and think, today was good. I made money, or I need this sale. It's like this constant chasing and chasing and chasing. And then in the end, when you step back, what was it all for? Did it fulfill you? Did it fulfill you? See, the reason that we need to go to alcohol, the reason that we need to go to food or porn or shopping or anger is it's a displacement. It's number one, not getting clean and accepting the things of our past and embracing them and recognizing they were part of a lesson for us to grow from. See, we're taught you need to forget that stuff. People ask me all the time, I know that most people don't stay sober past 5 years. The success rate isn't that great. People go in and go out, and you're going to be sober 9 years, and how do you do it? And you know something? every single day. My shittiest of moments, my worst of me that's ever shown up sits right here. Right there. And my best of me sits right here. Because they're both part of me. And at any given moment, I can revert back to form. Because for many years, this is who I was. This is how I acted. And I got news for you. You've got that same person in you too. And I hope that you've brought it forward. You know, if you're hiding it, you're in conflict. It's a part of you, and it will keep showing up. It's called our shadow. And any of you that have followed me know that I have suggested the shadow effect to many people. See, I don't change people's lives, or, I don't make people better. I don't make people productive. I provide people with tools, give people some guidance of the things that have worked for me, and they choose. I can tell you though, and hang on, I brought it. That was the noise of what just dropped. I don't care who you are, what you do, or where you're at. This, and it's going to be reversed because it's Facebook Live, the shadow effect. And any of my friends, clients, or just even folks that have followed Debbie Ford, you know, I hope that you serve other folks and you jump in the thread and you share your experience of the shadow effect. You know, it's interesting. I hear people and watch people, I read this book, and I read that book, and I read this book, and I go, get the fuck out of here, man. You know, you got through it. What did you get out of it? I mean, you know, it's like this, everything is this measurement. I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. I did that, I went up to you. You know what? Do one thing and kick ass. You know what? Read this, live in it. Every single day, you could go into the shadow effect. You could read it, you can internalize it, you can journal about it every single day of your life. And every single day, you're going to get something new from it. You're going to grow from it. You know, the best thing about it is you're then going to take what you've learned, how you've grown, and you're going to pass it on to other people. And that's the only reason we're here. That's the only reason we're here. We're chasing all this success. And sure, I'm in an success business. I help people grow their businesses, their teams, and people look at profitability and all those type of things. But I'm okay with that because my relationship with money is one, and I hope I extend it to other people, is it's a vehicle for me to get in front of more people. And why do I want to get in front of more people? I want to get in front of more people, not so I can have a crowd and hang out. It's not my deal. It's kind of this oxymoron. It's so that I can extend a message that facilitates change for people. Extend a message that facilitates change for people that want change. And, you know, that's just really what it's all about. You know, some suggestions. And it's your world. That's fine with me. Listen, it's okay to have challenges. It's okay to come forward with what you're experiencing, but don't be a whiner. I mean, if you're going to keep, let me tell you something. For example, right now, I'm 9.5 weeks into a training regiment and a nutrition regiment that's challenging, okay? And for a competition that's coming up. I'm 50 years old. My body hurts. Tendinitis, this is the one time you'll hear me talk about it. Tendinitis, my neck, my knee, all this type of shit. You don't hear me talking about that shit. You want to know why? Because I don't want to give stuff energy. That's number one. And number two, when you complain, you attract other complainers. You attract other complainers. I mean, you're giving it energy. I mean, I personally feel that things in my life, listen, I've got bumps in the road, a lot of them. But you want to know what? I look at it, I acknowledge it, I deal with it. I don't need someone to pat me on the ass and, oh, let me complain with you. You know, here's what I'd say. If you've got a challenge, you've got an issue, bring it forward. See, I'm not contradicting what I started with here. Bring your challenge forward. See, I don't care where anyone is at. I care about what you want to do about it. Now, the person that, and I see it all the time, and it's very, very sad, and they choose it. But I've seen people for years, oh, this is terrible, this is terrible. And they're saying the same thing is terrible that was terrible years and years and years ago. And it's because they choose to stay in that space. And it's also because the most challenging thing to do is do a self-examination of me and what I've created and owning it. And I can't blame anyone anymore. I can't look out the window anymore. I've got to look in the mirror. I've got to take personal responsibility. See, anything that you want to blame on someone else will continue to happen to you because you got no control over it. Now, when you can step back and say, how did I choose this? How did I create this? Or how come this is showing up and how is it here to serve and support me? My alcoholism is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. It took me to a place in my heart and my being, in my spirit, that I never could have imagined. Never could have imagined. And it's fun and exciting and get to extend it to other people. So I just really want to encourage folks to, and I will always bring strong medicine, and I don't care if some people don't like it, because here's the deal. You've got to be strong to go through it, and you've got to go through it to get to it. You can't fake it till you make it. When you've got a big change that needs to take place, you've got to make a choice. You've got to find people to guide you. You've got to make a commitment. You've got to acknowledge your past and understand that it's not going to change overnight. And the final piece is you can't let your ego overrun you. And let me explain what I mean by your ego overrunning you. And I see it happen all the time. I see people that go through challenging moments and they get the Band-Aid. You know, they read the book or they went to therapy or they got the new girlfriend that replaced the old girlfriend, or they got the new boyfriend that replaced the old boyfriend. They got the Band-Aid, and they stay right in the shitstorm, and they don't take care of themselves first. Take care of yourself first. Find out what makes you happy. And if there's an area in your life you feel you're falling down, if there's an area in your life that's causing you pain, reach out to someone. And I can tell you, for many years I didn't. I thought it was a secret. That's the crazy thing is, you know, if there's something that's really just challenging you in your life right now, you're trying to hide it, you're not bringing it forward, it's not a secret. You'll be shocked when you do come forward. People are like, well, we knew. We're so happy you did come forward. And the final piece is this, is if there's some things that you've overcome, share them with people. Stop sharing all your bullshit things you want to complain about and whine about. I mean, really? I mean, if you want to share something that you want to whine and bitch about, share how you overcame it. Share what you did to overcome it. Share a victory. Now, and if you want to just keep sharing your losses, that's okay. You're going to keep attracting losers. And that's all right. I mean, you know, there's all kinds. The bottom line is this. I'll go back to this gentleman that texted me at 3:30 a.m. And again, it's a beautiful thing to me to walk out of the gym. It's like, yes, I'm just, you know, I get these things that show up, I believe, that are honoring my path. You know, walking out of the gym at 3:25, 3:27, boom, text message from someone that wants help. And I'm not the guru. I'm just a guy that's walked the path. That's all. And I'm a guy that continues to walk the path. And I'm a guy that continues to fall down and skin up my knees. Now, is my life perfect? No, but see, I don't put all my shit out there that, oh my God, this happened. Oh my God, that happened. Who cares? The only person that cares about, oh my gods, you know, of this person, you know, God, I ended up, 2 weeks ago, someone took my car keys out of the gym locker room on accident. I ended up staying at the gym till midnight, 6 hours waiting for a locksmith, spending $500. Who gives a shit about that? I didn't go all over sharing that stuff. That's drama. That's drama. And you know what? All you're going to attract is more people like drama. I mean, and this is me, and it may not be you. You know, I like people that are challenged. I like people that fall down. I love the underdog because I'm a freaking underdog. I like people that can acknowledge they've walked deep into the dark forest and understand that walking out of it is what we get to do together for the rest of the journey. And finally, understanding this, being passive and accepting what society sees as your weaknesses, having a soft heart, doesn't mean you have to be a doormat. It doesn't mean you have to be a doormat at all. I'll tell you what it's going to do. It's going to preserve a lot of energy. I mean, you look at our social media. We have so much pressure in social media. I mean, God, there's just more trolls on posts and stuff like that. And, you know, who cares? I mean, why give a troll energy? I mean, stop giving energy to the things that aren't going to serve you. And it goes back to what I was taught. People, places, and things. Do some inventory today. Start out, what are the people, the places, and the things in my life that are not contributing to what I want to have as an experience for me and the people that I love that are around me and in my purpose? What are the people, places, and things? So you think you need to keep doing more? You need to keep doing less. Look at the person that has an alcohol problem. They don't need to keep doing more. They need to do less, and their life is magical. Less is more. You look at the person that has a problem with food. They need to eat less food. Less is more. You look at the person that wants to do more real estate. You look at the person that wants to experience abundance. You've got to eliminate the things that are taking up space here. Because the space that's taken up here won't allow that creativity to come in. Less is more. And the true more is serving your purpose. I'll end with this. No matter where you're at, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Don't want to be. What if people are your family? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My family, and you know what? Not that Wayne Dyer's the guru. I don't believe in the guru theory. I think that everyone's got different, I'm going to drop a Wayne Dyer bomb on you or a Tony Robbins bomb on you. I'll share with you some input Wayne Dyer gave in his latter writings. Is the number one thing we need to do is eliminate the people that are dragging us down. And typically the number one group of people that drag us down are our family. I'll tell you a little story. It's a good way to end, Ken. I'm really glad you asked it. In my drinking days, my brother went around the horn to all the family members that were still taking my calls and said to them, my brother's going to end up dead or in jail or incapacitated in some way, shape, or form from his drinking, and or he'll get sober. But if you keep talking to him, if you keep communication and connection with him, you're going to be the ones contributing to it. You need to cut the cord and stop talking to him. See, accountability, Ken, is the highest form of love we can show people, but yet when we stand in principle, we're a dick, we're a jerk. It's this, we need to be politically correct. Well, that's family. Well, no, you got to be able to make tough decisions. Absolutely, with kids. I've had to do it. My son would share it. My son's very transparent. My son has battled with drugs. My son's overcome drugs. I mean, we're, not this, there's a great example of, oh my gosh, you need to be the perfect parent. Bullshit. No one's a perfect parent. No one's kids are perfect. My kids have struggled. My son has. My daughter, she's a piece of work. She's amazing. And so is he, though, too. I mean, they've both got my DNA. That's the good news and the bad news. But, depending on where kids are at, you've got to draw the line. You've got to have boundaries. See, we teach and we train people how to behave. We teach and we train people how to behave. And the only way, my mom too, I mean, I'll go back to, you know, how our mom taught us and trained us and raised us. I mean, it was, you know, here are the expectations, and I'm going to support you to this point, but there's a point where you got to man up. So there's my quick answer to that. And it's an answer that has worked for me personally and in my journey of growth, and it's worked for my children too. So as today, I mean, listen, as the world turns, things are constantly changing. They're constantly changing. But listen, do this. Take the mirror, pull it up from waist level to eye level. Stop looking out the window at what's happening around you. It's happening inside of you. And then make a choice of what you want to change, and then reach out to someone and let someone know, hey, I'm scared shitless. I want to change. I want things to be different. I don't know what to do. And you know, you'll find someone that can guide you and help you. But don't do this. Don't lose your life, literally or figuratively, the energy of your life, of not coming forward and allowing yourself the opportunity to be the highest version of yourself because you are afraid what people might think of you. What you're going to find is you'll probably connect with people at a deeper level because it will humanize you, because they've got their stuff too. And what it does is it kind of reassures them, oh, I'm not alone. And then you're not going to be alone. And you see how we all can help each other if we come to understand that? That's the path.